Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be making a season 5 wishlist guide with all the most recommended heroes. I want to begin this video talking about beginner or new players, what their wishlist should look like, what heroes they should get one copy of in the process, and then we're going to move on to the players who have been playing for a while. You're probably going to have all of these heroes already built up, and I'm going to give you my recommendations of Paragon upgrade priorities, which heroes are important for you to build up, or which heroes you can completely skip on. So that's how we're going to kind of structure this video. So I'm going to go briefly through this beginner player sort of lineup. Now these are going to be the key heroes you want to upgrade all the way up to Supreme Plus. They're the most impactful heroes on your account. However, that being said, there are a couple of heroes, for example, Rowan. You will want to get one copy of him because that can help you in like early AFK stages. You can ignore the other heroes here. On the A-level light bear heroes, there's not really any hero which is going to be great just at that one copy. But after Hugin and Sinbad are done, you can think about building up Zany or Merrily. These are two other great damage dealers which are good for A-level light bearers, but the two major ones are still Hugin and Sinbad in my opinion. Sinbad is most likely still going to be more meta for Dream Realm compared to Zany. We'll have to wait and see, but that does seem to be how it's shaping up to be. Now for the Maulers, the only one copy hero you want to consider is Brutus, because Brutus at one copy can be useful for some AFK stages, or even if you want to use him in PvP. But the two big heroes you want to upgrade immediately are Mikola and Smokey. These are two of the best supports in the game. And then your third important one is going to be Shakir. You want to upgrade him also to Supreme Plus. These are the three big support heroes for Dream Realm content that you do want to build up as a beginner player. Zandrock is not needed, even though he is in the best Ravage Realm team. Really, you could think about one copy. He also can buff your team at that one copy for PvP if that's what you're trying to do, but not a major priority. For the A levels, it's still going to be Coco and Odie, and you might be confused about Odie because Odie hardly saw any use in the previous season of Dream Realm. However, in this season of Dream Realm, one of the boss, which is Blightshroom, is going to be preventing you from casting basically ultimates at all. And so normal attackers are going to be the best form of damage output. And I think Odie might be a good option for people who may not have... I don't know who is going to be in the top team. I don't know if Odie is going to be in the top team, but he could be in like a second or third best team. So Odie overall is still a solid hero, even though he's not really meta anymore. Coco you need to build because for early Dream Realm, you need her for that protection, that damage reduction. And you need to fully build her up to Supreme Plus. But Kruger is one hero at one copy is good for Dream Realm for his physical defense debuff. And eventually you want to build up Kruger as well for just scoring a bit higher in Dream Realm. And the other hero is not really needed. Satrana is a PvP hero. She is good in PvP. And eventually she will be, you'll want to build her when you have the luxury to do so. For the S level Wilders, so Iron and Valara, these are the two key heroes because Iron for AFK stages is a must-have and Valara for AFK stages and Dream Realm a must-have. Both of these are the most important heroes to build all the way up to Supreme Plus. As for one copy wonders, there's not really any here, but when you're done building these, you're going to want to think about building Tossie for further AFK stages and Lily May also for PvP and some boss content, Ravage Realm, and then even Dream Realm probably not going to be your best basically hero. And for the A-level Wilders, we have Ulmus and Faramore. These are going to be the most two important. You want to get to Mythic Plus or even Supreme Plus first of all, and then you want to think about, you know, running a hero like Theodore, also used for later game AFK stages and really good for PvP. Arden can be used in AFK stages, but Tossie can also do that. You don't necessarily need Arden that much anymore. Damien as a support for PvP, and then these other heroes, Lenya, Laika, Parissa, they're just purely PvP and like luxury heroes later down the line. For the Graveborns, there are a couple of one copy heroes you definitely want to get. They're going to be Damon, one copy, and one copy of Thorin, because Thorin at one copy can still provide his Soul Plunder debuff to increase the damage that a boss or enemy target will take, and Damon at one copy can provide the big attack buff for your carry, whether it be Shmira or whoever else on your Dream Realm team, and even for AFK stages, he can work at one copy. So those are one copy wonder heroes, and then you want to fully build up Shmira and Ludovic. Ludovic for endless damage dealer in Dream Realm, Shmira for pre-endless and endless damage dealer. Eventually, you'll also want to get Thorin and Damon all the way maxed out, and Damon would be more important, like the third one you want to get up to Supreme Plus, and then Thorin maybe the fourth one. For the A-level Graveborn, the most important one is Bonnie. She has use in Dream Realm. She can have some AFK stage use, and she's very good in PvP. She's a jack of all trades. Nero is good for PvP mainly. He can be used in AFK stages, but he's an overall basically very solid Graveborn hero, and that is why I think he should be your first priority on your A-level wishlist. The other heroes here, Sylvina is good for as a PvP assassin, nuker. Callan is good as a PvP shielder, protection for PvP. Velka has been used in Ravage Realm at the end of the season, but she can work at low copies as well, and you can also get one copy of Velka, one copy of Callan early on. They can help you in AFK stages, and then eventually you do want to build Velka out. Probably I would say Velka probably the third one you want to build out here just to get set up for Ravage Realm. That's probably what my recommendation would be, but Velka is just really for Ravage Realm. Other than that, Callan or Sylvina are probably more flexible for PvP. So that is basically going to be the standard wishlist. For the epic recruitment wishlist, it is going to be these heroes. You basically will always want to keep Pandora here. Even when you max Pandora to Supreme Plus, you'll probably want to keep her here just a Paragon upgrade her, because Pandora is a Paragon upgrade priority for everyone. She's a very strong PvP hero, and it's just going to be important for you to keep her on the wishlist. The other hero is Shamira. You want to get up to Supreme Plus quickly. She's the best damage dealer in the game for Dream Realm, and even can be used in AFK stages in PvP. Shamira is one of the top heroes in the game. Iron for AFK stages, really essential in getting in Mythic Plus as quick as you can. Valara for for all PvE, the Dream Realm and AFK stages, and Ludovic for the endless bosses. Those are the big ones. And then eventually, once these are done, you can swap in the other key heroes that we talked about in the regular wish list. Basically, that is going to be it. And then for the Stargaze Station, Stellar Crystals, you will want to prioritize twins, focus them, get them all the way to Supreme Plus. Before getting them to Supreme Plus, you can get one copy of Fresto. It could help you for AFK stages, maybe. Occasionally in Dream Realm, he can even work at one copy. And then after you're done with the twins to Supreme Plus, get your Rainier to Mythic Plus. Those are the big two you want to build. Supreme Plus twins, Mythic Plus Rainier. You have the one copy of Fresto along the way. And actually, Fresto comes from the login event, so you don't even have to worry about actually recruiting for one copy. And then when you're done with twins and Rainier, then currently it is Baelran number 3. Getting him to Supreme Plus, he is the best endless damage dealer as a third option here. And then the other two heroes, Fresto, followed by Harak. The problem with Fresto and Harak, they have been phased out of the endless meta of Dream Realm. That is the number one problem. They're only using like 1 to 2 of the top Dream Realm boss teams. The other issue is that Harak needs Fresto built in order for him to function in a team. The top teams using Harak also use Fresto in them, and Fresto needs to be plus 15 exclusive equipment, which means Fresto needs to be Supreme at least Ascension, and then Harak needs to be Supreme Plus. So that's like a heavy investment. They kind of are linked to each other, that you need them together. But either way, after Baelran, it would be Fresto number 4 and Harak number 5. That's basically the current trend of things. Okay, that is basically going to be the wrap of the beginner and newer players. Now let's go ahead and break it down for the longer term players who probably have all of these heroes at Supreme Plus, maybe even working on Paragon on them. And let's talk about Paragon upgrade priority, number 1, and also number 2, what other heroes should you think about building out, maybe to round out your roster for Ravage Realm. So here, for the S-level light bearers, Siren is the most important for Paragon upgrade. Rowan can be second most because Rowan is still a good energy booster, which has value for PvP. Apart from this, the other heroes here, Atalanta was great in Ravage Run this season, but it probably is not going to return because in the future we have the Phantomal system, which is not anywhere near as strong as the Lightbearer faction talents were this season. It's very likely Atalanta is going to be a one and done. She's probably not going to see a usage in meta like Ravage Realm or even Primal Lords in the future. It was just all a combination of her charms as well as a faction talent system, which is probably not going to ever happen again. So honestly speaking, Atalanta, Cassie, Tamesia, Vala, they all can be skipped. It's like it's such a low chance that they are actually going to be meta for anything. So it's up to you if you want to build them or just fully focus on Siren, Rowan all the way in Paragon upgrades. That's kind of what I would prefer from this position. For the A-level light bearers, we have the Hugin, Sinbad, and you'll want to Paragon upgrade Hugin. Sinbad doesn't need to be Paragon upgrade because he's not good for PvP, right? But his Paragon upgrades will give him a bit more stats, a bit more damage out for Dream Realm, but it's not a big deal. Honestly speaking, I would probably say keep Paragon upgrading Hugin because he's a strong PvP hero, and then try to build out the rest of your roster, get Merrily built up, get Zany built up. These are the strong heroes, generally speaking, for Ravage Run, Primal Lord, season after season. No matter what the faction talents are, they always do well. You can also think about building up some of these other heroes. Walker is overall so solid hero. He also has PvP usage. And when we talk about actually the strongest currently light bearer A levels for PvP, they're really Hugin, Zany, and Walker. These are the strongest PvP heroes light bearers for A levels. The reason for that is Walker has a stun at the beginning of the fight, which is impactful. Having that instant crowd control is very powerful, and then also he has good damage output. Zany has their turrets, they tank for your team, they deal damage, and they also break through shields very effectively. So Zany is also a strong hero. These are basically the 3 candidates for the Paragon upgrade priorities. I would probably go for Zany, Paragon, before Walker, but like Walker could also be used before Zany if you want to. For the Maulers, this is really tough because there's not any major PvP S level Mauler for PvP. Shakira can be used, Mikola can be used, Smokey you probably never use because he just gets interrupted too much in PvP. Elsa is just not strong anymore in the meta. Zandrok is one of those heroes that looks like the biggest priority I would recommend for Paragon upgrading, because in the future when there are more melee hyper carriers that need Zandrok support, then your Zandrok will be ready to go. So for me personally, I would say Zandrok is probably the highest Paragon priority for S level Maulers, for that basically future investment, and then Shakira as well. And for the A-level Maulers, we basically have the, let's put Shakir back here. For the A-level Maulers, it's really now going to be the PvP one. So Trana is the biggest one. So Trana is the best PvP A-level Mauler, and all the other ones kind of don't even come close to her. Seth can be really good if you want to use him as an assassin and you want to fully invest into him. He can be a good PvP option. Coco even can be used. She usually always has a pretty good charm quality bonus, and that is just going to like work well for seasonal content. You just run Coco in the team. Even if she doesn't get off her ultimate, at least she's providing good charms to your team. She's activating the Mauler faction talents. So Coco's not a bad target for Paragon. Odie, the thing with him, it's so weird. Some seasons Odie can be usable in PvP, like in this current Lightbearer faction talent season we had, but like generally speaking, Odie is not great for PvP anymore. He's easy to kill and he has issues. But yeah, you could leave Odie or Coco, but Coco probably would be safer. For the Wilders S level, it's going to be the PvP heroes, so that is going to be Lily May, that is going to be Tossie. Tossie and Lily May are going to be the 2 big PvP S level Wilders, and you want to fully Paragon upgrade them. They're both very strong. Iron, you can also use in PvP. He is a good option, but if the opponent has unaffected or anything to counter crowd control, or even running Lily May to interrupt your Iron, those are all ways of countering Iron, which means he's not foolproof for PvP. The other heroes, so like we have the new hero Pang, but honestly Pang is really down the line in terms of Paragon priority. Pang is good, he can be fine, but he just doesn't provide enough, honestly speaking. It's really just for that shield and attack buff he provides when an ally gets above 850 energy, but your allies could be dead before they even get up to 850 energy, which is kind of the problem. So up until that point, what is Pang doing for your team? Not providing that much, but he is a good hero, and even there's arguments about Lorison, Indris. There's so many heroes you could potentially Paragon upgrade, but really the big 3 in my opinion are Lily May, Tossie, Iron. Do not Paragon upgrade Valara. That's just a really whale thing to do, and she's not a PvP hero, and you should only be Paragon upgrading PvP heroes. For the A-level Wilders, now here's the thing. This is really tough. Theodore probably is one of the biggest Paragon upgrade priorities because he has just proven himself as such a beast for PvP. He is the best A-level Wilder hero for PvP. There's no question about that. By that energy boost and then that defense shred when your lieutenant casts your first ultimate. Now, apart from this, Damien always a solid support for PvP, a good upgrade for Paragon priority. Leica even, good temporary buffer for Lily May to ramp up her damage, to ramp up Perseus' damage if you're planning to get Perseus. So Leica is also a good hero. However, Alma is also really good synergy with Iron if you're thinking about Paragon and upgrading Iron. Lenya, I wouldn't really recommend anymore. Lenya is kind of like... she's kind of fallen off. They're just better heroes for PvP, and Lenya just has survival issues and just usually cannot get off her full damage before dying. So really, I would say probably Theodore and Almas if you want to synergize with Iron, or if you want to go for more supportive Wilder. Damien is a great choice, or even Leica, but Leica probably the least important because Leica is just really a temporary buffer. Damien and Almas, they're really solid heroes. Inferno are not really great for PvP. Okay, we have the Graveborns. So for the Graveborns, now, they're really, in my opinion, there's actually three. So Shamira is a priority for Paragon upgrade because she's good in PvP and it will improve her damage in Dream Realm and AFK stages as well. However, it's mainly because she's good in PvP. That's why you would Paragon upgrade a hero. So Shamira is really good for Paragon upgrade. Ludovic also good. He's a good, strong PvP healer, one of the best nuke healer, basically burst healers in the game. But Damon also is very strong for PvP. So it's really going to be among these three, Shamira, Ludovic, Damon, that you want to try to Paragon upgrade. Igor is a nice Troy, and he's good in Stroll comps, but he's like way down the line. You want to make sure your Damon, Ludovic, Shamira are all max Paragon first. And then later on, when you have the luxury, you can try to think about Igor. Now, Thorin has really fallen off. Thorin is still good. You can definitely use him. He's not a bad hero, but he's just not as like, you know, when you're looking at tanks, Damon is a way better tank compared to Thorin these days. So like, that's just the thing. Thorin is up against other tanks who just kind of do a better job. So even though Thorin is good, he's probably not going to make it into your top team. And then for the A level, Graveborns, there's a lot of strong PvP heroes like we talked about. There's Bonnie, who is a major Paragon priority, one of the highest. Then there's Nero, who's also a very strong PvP hero, now takes Lily May interruption. And he also has that AoE damage, and you want to Paragon upgrade him for that. So I would also say Nero and Bonnie probably the top two for Paragon upgrade priorities. But then after that, you'll want to get Callan. He is the best shielder protector in the game, which is very useful for comps that need that added protection. And Sylvina, also one of the best assassins in the game for offense, Supreme Arena offense, even regular arena can be used. She's a really good like nuking hero. And so eventually even Sylvina. But I would probably say Bonnie, then Nero, then Callan, then Sylvina. That is basically how I would say it. And that is basically my idea for like the Paragon sort of priority and things that you want to be building. Okay, and epic recruitment is going to be basically the only advice I'll give you for epic recruitment is just make sure your Pandora is always here. Even if you got her max Paragon upgraded, keep acquiring copies for that next Paragon ascension, because the only way to get Pandora is through epic recruitment, and she is one of the best PvP heroes and will always kind of be that. And so you want to max Paragon upgrade her at all times, and then you just pick your favorite S level heroes here. Like great options are Siren, Lily May, Tassi, Damon, Shamira, Ludovic. Those are really the big heroes which really stand out for their PvP role. For the Stellar Crystal Stargaze Station, now when we talk about Celestial Hypogeans, Paragon upgrading them is only for the whales, the very heavy spenders. If you're buying Celestial Hypogean pop-up packs, that is a time when you can think about actually Paragon upgrading. If you're not buying Celestial Hypogean pop-up packs, you're just, you know, getting Noble Pass, those passes which happen throughout the whole season, and then, you know, even the pre-order pack. Those are not enough Stellar Crystals to be thinking about Paragon upgrading a Celestial Hypogean. It's just better for you to build another meta Celestial Hypogean up to Supreme Plus. But if you are a player who is consistently buying those pop-up packs of Celestial Hypogean Stellar Crystals, then you should be Paragon upgrading Celestial Hypogeans. And let's just talk about which are the biggest values that you can do. Now, the overall biggest value is Athalia. She is the strongest PvP nuker in the game. And by upgrading, you want to be Paragon upgrading those damage dealers for PvP because they get the most value. That damage boost is really effective. And so Athalia probably the #1 candidate for Paragon upgrade in the Celestial Hypogeans. But right after that, if you have Cryonaya built, I would really say Cryonaya probably would be your second most priority, because you want these hyper carriers, the meta hyper carriers, to be upgraded in Paragon as much as possible, because that is going to unlock the full potential of your comp, which is going to be built around these heroes. These are the heroes which your comp is built around. If you have Cryonaya on the team or Athalia on the team, the whole comp is based on them being the damage source and winning your team the game. And so you want to Paragon upgrade them. The other heroes here, I mean, Dunlinger is just really dominant in PvP. But the thing about him is because he's a tank, he doesn't benefit at all from the damage boost rivalry stat you get from Paragon. And so even though Paragon upgrading him is nice because it gives your whole team-wide inspiration intimidation, he's actually, because he's a tank, he's not as important to upgrade in Paragon tier as, for example, Athalia or even Cryonaya, who you'll be running on your team. So that is a thing to keep in mind. Of course, if you want to min-max everything, you will want to Paragon upgrade Dunlinger. However, if you have to choose between Dunlinger, Athalia, and Cryonaya, it's definitely Athalia and Cryonaya first because they're the damage dealers. Dunlinger would be the lowest priority. Now, if you're using Diurnal and you're making Hyper K comps around Diurnal, you will want to prioritize his Paragon upgrades because he is a damage dealer. But now, if we talk about other heroes, which are going to be more of the supportive role, less of the damage role, for example, Scarlita, she does not need to be Paragon upgraded. Same with Rainier. Like, obviously, if you Paragon upgrade them, there's more intimidation, inspiration stats you provide. However, the thing with them is that they're mainly here for some supportive role, or even if you're running the twins, or even if you're running Dunlinger. And so, like, even though you're going to lose out inspiration intimidation, you're not going to really lose out much on the damage boost, which you're not going to be having by not Paragon upgrading these heroes. So that is the thing. Saida's hero, which yes, you would want Paragon upgrade, but not quite as much again as Athalia or Krynaya, who are just all about raw damage. Saida does deal damage, and so if you're trying to build a stall comp around her as your carry on the comp, Paragon here is nice, and she is important to Paragon, just kind of like Kulu. However, because they're also kind of tech options, Saida for stall and Kulu for that wall, you can make them work even at lower Paragon upgrades. They don't need that maximum Paragon investment. If you're going to be running Baelran, you need him maximum Paragon invested, because Baelran is not actually a tank. Baelran is a hyper carry. He's a melee hyper carry that needs to get ascended and trying to solo the enemy team. And so, Baelran, if you want to Paragon upgrade him, if you want him to be used in PvP, you will want to Paragon upgrade him. But when we talk about Taylene, so Taylene, even though she deals pretty decent damage, her main role is that stall factor, that repetitive damage, and she can kind of do that job even at a lower Paragon upgrade. But because she's not a hyper carry, she's not like Baelran, Krynaya, Athalia, who are actually hyper carries for your team. Taylene is more of that stall factor, kind of like Saida, so not quite as top tier in terms of priority for Paragon upgrades, but the lowest ones are the Scarlita, the Rainier, the twins, even Dunlinger. But Dunlinger isn't necessarily the lowest because Dunlinger is very meta for PvP. Frestro is low on the list because Frestro is a tank. He'll do his job even without Paragon upgrading him. You just lose out on inspiration, intimidation. And Harak, don't really even bother with Harak because Harak is not that great in PvP. So hopefully, guys, this is gonna be helpful. Kind of like, obviously, this is a different format from how we have done the wishlist videos in the past, but hopefully it's helpful because this is really the thing. There are new beginner players who need the first part of this video, and then there are the longer term players who need the more focus on the second part that we did in this video, and hopefully it will help everyone out. So let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment section down below. Which heroes are you currently working on your wish list? Feel free to share with me in the comment section down below. But if you guys are not already a member of my AFK Journey Discord server, please join that. There's a link to that in the description of this video. Also, if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. There is a link to that in the description of this video and a pinned comment. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.